What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Sunday, February 20th market update. Prices of Bitcoin currently at 38,200 and some change. We've seen some overnight breakdown behavior from this descending channel. And this is one of the concerns that we had mapped out in the advantage side as we closed out after the Friday US market session, which was that the fact that we were kind of sitting and hovering in this area had a higher probability that this was going to break down. Even if this had come back and retested, let's just say 41 flat, I was still expecting for a breakdown from here. Now, where we are right now is a very peculiar area because this is also a temporary point of support. And I'll show you all exactly how that looks. So you could see when I had mapped these levels out of support and resistance, this was one of the key support areas that we spent multiple days building a base right here. It broken above, retested, put in a lower high, broke down, right? Once we broke down through this area right here, it became abundantly clear that the sellers were pretty strong in the market. And the fact that we kept continuously grinding down meant that we had to be even more cautious headed into the weekend. And our positioning reflected just that. Remember, we started a 5K challenge account at the beginning of this year. For those of you who are not familiar with our 5K challenge account, we do one of these every single year. Last year in 2021, the $5,000 challenge ended with a full gain by the end of the year at $26,880, which is a 438% gain. So for the year of 2021, we closed this out, secured our profit, and then we started a new challenge. The new challenge, since the beginning of the year, we started at $5,000. Currently, as you could see here on my screen, the 5K challenge sits at about 4,500 and some change. We are currently in two short positions. One thing that we do in our community very well, in my opinion, is balance out risk very properly. And we make sure that we are not in positions of liquidations or really pressuring and stress testing our collateral. We make sure to really capitalize on whatever positions that we have in an adequate manner, rather than hoping and believing that the market will bail us out or the market will turn around. Now, I stuck to my guns in my short position bias, for better or for worse. Finally it played out, right? I had actually gone short right here. And the reason I had gone short right there is because I figured that if this right here is going to turn around and break down at some point, because I fundamentally believe that altcoins and BTC are still very weak. And I believed even when the prices were going up that they were going to come back down. Not because I'm adamant, not because I had emotions attached to my short, but because there are way too many factors that are reshaping our crypto market, such as the Fed interest rate hike fears, the Russia-Ukraine war fears, things that are happening in China that may roll over here into the US, our supply chain constraints, maybe the inadequate moderation and effectiveness of our political leaders here in America. It's really an array of things that I personally believe that is going to keep putting a foot down on the stock market here in the US, which will ultimately translate to more lower prices in crypto as well. So my belief is still held as that, which is I believe that alts and BTC are going to get hit harder on the way down. I'm not quite sure where the pain is going to end. But if today is any example of what may happen in the coming week, it can get even more rough from here. What I'm looking forward to in the coming few days is that we just have a very big, fast flush down like this one right here that you saw. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe something like this, where we just kind of capitulate in, I don't know, 2 weeks or something, or less than a week. And just get it over with. I'm not quite sure how it's going to happen, but from the looks of it and the way the indicators are panning out, if we compare Bitcoin to previous 2018, 2019 bear markets or the 2015, 2016 bear market, I'm personally thinking that we're going to have a multi-month sideways / down consolidation. Many other factors are kind of showing us that at the very least, we have more downside from here. Whether this just simply meets the neckline, which is around 32,000, or it breaks down and sweeps these lows right here on BTC, or it meets the 200 weekly moving average on Bitcoin, which is currently around $25,000 or $26,000, right? I'm not quite sure. Either way, I think it's probably a safer bet to hope that, not to hope, but rather to think that prices are going to head down further before they find a base to build or push up higher. And so for that reason, I am short. I'm short AVAX. I'm short ADA. I let my Advantage community know in the private channels that we have. And we've been short, I think, for a good week and a half. And then beyond that, over the last several weeks, we've actually just been shorting every opportunity that we can get in the market. So yeah, the other thing I'll say is, on FTX, right? I'm not really seeing a whole lot of like levered support. Like this is the perp contract in FTX. I typically look on FTX just because that's really where the big players are, right? Alameda Research, one of the bigger market players in the space. I'm not really seeing any bids in the market, like no stacks of walls. That's concerning, to say the least. I also checked BitMEX. I didn't see anything there. Where is BitMEX? Let me see here. So I also checked BitMEX. I didn't see anything there in terms of, stacked wall of support. And then finally, I also checked Bitfinex earlier. Also did not see any significant support. So, I do think there's definitely a cause for concern right now because we are in the weekend time, right? Generally, no big moves over the last weekend have come. And the fact that today, Bitcoin itself is already down almost 4.5%, 5%. A lot of altcoins you can see right here are down anywhere between 3, 5, 7, 9%. This is uncommon in the market. And when, uncommonality to the downside comes in the market, you should probably expect that there's something coming up in the week ahead that's forcing traders to access a 27 market, which is crypto, to start selling some of their positions, right? Because crypto is the only market that's open right now, okay? The US markets are closed. Stock market and bond market is actually closed Saturday, Sunday, and Monday because Monday's a holiday, okay? So concerning at the least, right? As of right now, I do still think that you can still go short. Your stop should probably be above today's daily high or yesterday's daily high. One of my favorite short opportunities right now is AVAX because the structure is so clean. You have this descending parallel channel. Even when the prices rocketed up here, I actually did not budge from my short. I was actually considering adding to my short up here, but I wanted to see if we were going to break through this area, in which case then I would have to cut my short, right? If prices had broken through this channel and held right here, I would have closed my short. But that didn't happen. We quickly sort of resumed down and I held my short and then I added to my short yesterday. Other assets that I would probably short, One Harmony. I think minimum One Harmony gets towards this 12-cent support level right here. Kind of held multiple times. I figure it would at least come back to this area. Matic, same thing. I think Matic gets at least to a minimum like 126 if this level starts breaking. And then beyond that, it's like 95 cents or $1 flat. And then I think Luna, probably the same. I think it's broken through this channel. I think this channel is done now. So I think the best opportunity, if you want, like, let's just say a swing short or something, you go short here, you have your stop just above this high, or to be safe above this high, right? And your first target profit is at least this area down here, which is around $32, $33. And beyond that, I don't know, maybe like 22, 25, somewhere around here, this pocket. This is obviously a clear, little zone of support and resistance, as you could see. So keep that in mind as a potential shorting opportunity. Okay. Obviously, there's many other assets you could look at. I mean, basically everything across the board, I expect to get hit kind of hard. Like Atom, I'd probably expect to get hit hard, to the downside. At minimum, it comes back to $20. If it breaks this ascending channel support, then I'm expecting Atom to head towards this region right here that has previously retested this multiple times. In which case, that'll be around like $10, $11. It depends like what time frame it drops and touches this channel. Okay. So anyway, all in all, I expect markets to be more shaky, probably just keep grinding down slowly, headed into the rest of the weekend, the long weekend rather. And then the coming week, yeah, it's going to be shaky. So I do expect a more downside, and I would not really consider longs just yet, unless you're someone who is capable of adding to your spot positions just continuously on the way down. Like if you want to add to your spot, you got to be willing to add now because this is support, right? Let's just say Atom. Okay. This is support. $20 is also support. And then way the heck down here around $10 to $12 is also support. Okay. If you don't know, where to look for support and you don't really care about technicals right now, just go for like big, bold numbers like 25, 20, 15, 10, something like that. Okay. The other thing I'll talk about is technicals, right? Okay, so I'll be the first one to admit that, technicals are not always useful in every environment. Okay, they're useful to a certain degree to map out levels, but when the momentum is hot and the volatility is high, your levels just can get blown through and get retested at far varying ranges. Okay, remember, I wrote a thread on this the other day that support and resistance is not a single point in price. Where's my thread? Let me go find my thread here. I feel like I retweet so much stuff. Here it is, right? So support and resistance is not a single point in price. What it is really range. It's a zone in price because no single buyer is just sitting there and saying, hey, I will absorb everything at, $39,251. Like that's not how it works, right? Because no one is able to gauge what kind of ferocity is going to come once a certain level is blown through, whose stops get hit, who has shorted aggressively, what players are coming into market, who is hedging in the option side of the world. You just don't know, right? So your technical analysis in situations like this, you should take it with a grain of salt, like a large pinch of a grain of salt, because what you have to keep in mind is, whatever levels that you've drawn, price may overblow that far to either side, either extreme. And it will still, at some point then start to show you that, okay, now we're respecting the technical levels, but it will be well beyond the point where you have completely lost hope in your technical levels and you start looking lower and lower and lower. And you don't want to do that. You still want to map out your technical levels, leave them there, but just recognize that whatever is happening in the market is because the spreads are completely blowing out. It's because maybe the market makers are just stepping out of the way and they're saying, hey, we don't want to deal with this shit. Let the storm kind of fade away. Let the sellers, the buyers do their thing, and we'll step in, whenever we have to. Okay. Because the market maker's job is really to be able to provide liquidity for the market at particular price points, at particular ranges where the spreads are blowing out, where it's actually beneficial to the market maker, right? Because that's how they really make money, is they try to tighten up that spread and provide a tighter bid ask for products. If the bid ask is completely getting blown out and a lot of pressure and volume is coming into the market makers might just say, let the market do its thing. We don't really know how to handle this volatility. We'll step in when the market really, really just completely breaks loose. Okay. So anyway, in situations like that, you don't want to be a person who's catching the knife because you don't really know where the bleeding can end. You just want to focus on the momentum of the market. And the momentum of the market right now is telling you that we clearly are just grinding down lower and lower. Volume and price action will show you that right now we're just sort of breaking down. You have the external factors, whether it's the stock market going down, here's oil literally sitting on the brink, right here of a breakdown. Okay, if oil starts breaking down, I'm pretty sure all hell will break loose. Okay, here's the S&P 500 futures contract, right? Here's the Friday close right here. Okay, again, not good. Breaking through key support right here, also creating its own respective huge head and shoulders pattern like this, just like Bitcoin's. Not good. Whether you look at the S&P 500 or the indices, right? Look at the best capitalized companies and best stocks. Microsoft, for example, okay? That's not a good look for Microsoft. That's a clean looking head and shoulders right there. Google, okay? Again, not a good look for Google either, right? Clean looking head and shoulders right there. Whether the head and shoulders like breaks down aggressively, that's not the question. That's not really even the answer. It's really the fact that there's been a sort of rounding top that's coming up here, and Google, a strong capitalized company, is actually losing momentum in this area. And so that is the real concern in the market. Then you have, let's just say, things like AMD, okay? One of the best sectors in the market, which is the semiconductor sector, okay? Always leading, but even semiconductors don't look good, okay? NVIDIA, same thing, right? Not looking good. Tesla, not good. Okay, so all these factors should be telling you that the stock market itself, looking as weak as it does, closing out last Friday, headed into the new week ahead, it should tell you that we got to be cautious at the very least in the crypto side. All right, so that's pretty much all I have to talk about. I talked about, bit side really just completely disappearing. I'm not really seeing anything aggressive in the CBD side on any of the exchanges. It's not like there's some huge sellers in the perp side, but you best believe that spot sellers are becoming active in the market, right? And spot selling just means that it's not really a good thing. It's like it's real selling of the asset that's happening. It's not just futures contracts that are continuously pushing the market down. So that is concerning. Liquidation data is not really telling me anything yet because we have not had big liquidations. So who knows, maybe if this starts ramping up to like $500 million or $1 billion in a day or two, then we start panicking, or people start panicking and they start closing out longs, or I don't know, having to close out their spot positions in the market. You never really know what kind of panic it can bring on. And you definitely want to see funds themselves panic. That's really where the big capitulations happen. When a big fund does not anticipate this kind of big movement, you want to see these funds really get checked in the market, because when funds have to sell, they have to sell everything, right? They have to sell everything across the board to be able to make sure that they have enough collateral to cover their margin, their futures positions, whatever. Okay, so that's really what I'm looking for a large capitulation in the market, for one of the funds to really, really panic. Last but not least, I wrote this small sort of newsletter, or it's really not a newsletter, it's just a thread about the case for Bitcoin, right? Obviously, there's some issues happening in Canada. I'll let y'all read about it on your own. Everybody has their own opinion of what's right and wrong. But point is that if you look at this from a financial standpoint, from the crypto lens, Bitcoin has never had a better case to be used as a utility for avoiding financial censorship or avoiding asset seizure. So this is the time for Bitcoin now, in light of what's happening in Canada, or basically any other country in the world that has to deal with this kind of aggressive government heist or overtake of their citizens' bank accounts or financial sovereignty. So I made this case that if Bitcoin right now doesn't start moving up in light of all this crap happening in Canada or things that are happening in China or across the world, the case really then is like, what is the point of Bitcoin, right? If people are not piling into Bitcoin right now because of, their money and the assets getting seized, well, what can they do? So anyway, I make the case that this is the time for Bitcoin to start moving up. It may not happen instantly, right? It may take, I don't know, maybe 3-6 months, 1 year for people to start recognizing that. But I think that case is being built. And I'm super excited to see if people start to recognize Bitcoin as that, private asset that they can own without having government oversight, having to, be monitored by the government on every step of the way. So anyway, make sure y'all check out this newsletter. You can go to alphatrades.substack.com, subscribe, hit the thumbs up, hit like, leave me a comment of your thoughts of what's happening in the market, what's happening in Canada if you're from Canada. All right. That's all I got, folks. There's other things that we've spoken about, obviously, the Total 2, which is the altcoin channel. I already told y'all before, I expect this channel to start breaking down further. Technically, though, we are sitting at key support here as per the market cap on the Total 2. So if we do bounce up from here, right, we have to see like how much do we bounce up? Do we just kind of piddly bounce and then roll over again? Or is the force so strong from the sellers in the market that we just start breaking down further and further? In which case I would expect a tap at the bottom of the channel, at the very least, somewhere around here, around $800 billion, or if not, the next big level is 700 to 600 billion, somewhere down here. Okay, which, this chart will indicate to you that it effectively means that altcoins themselves are going to get completely whacked, whether it's, tomorrow or next week, I don't know when, whenever this shows that we are descending down further and further. All right, thank you so much for watching. Again, hit the thumbs up if you enjoy our content. There's a Discord free link to join below. It's also on the top right of your screen. You can join our community for free if you want to access the NFT side. You just have to go to the NFT access right here. Once you join, hit this react button, and then you will have these channels right here open up for you, the NFT access area. All right, thank you so much, everybody. Good luck to you. Take care, and we will talk soon.